this moment in time where our path has crossed and our destinies are now intertwined. I'm Elder Michael Johnson, and it's an honor to be in your presence. As I speak these words, I can sense the uncertainty in your hearts and many feeling this falling into this deep abyss where the truth seems to be inclusive. The darkness overwhelming, but fear not, you are not alone. You see, you are here for a reason, a purpose. You may not yet comprehend, but one has been calling out to you, urging you to seek the truth and wake up from your slumber that has held you captive. And yet, in this irony and this
it's frustrating. I'm trying to listen to God. I got my own flesh and my pulling me here, my own desires, my family, my friends, all these things is distracting me from the truth, and it's difficult to give in, especially when you're young, man. But if you can go through it, you'll come out like gold. If I can go through the fire. They don't want to go through the fire. They want the lotto and go to Jamaica and the Bahamas and do their own selfish thing. But he said, if you wait till I exalt you, I give you the desires of your heart. But it's difficult to wait because everybody's in a hurry. Technology, it's fast. It's in a hurry. They're angry. They're frustrated. They got time. They're on the cell phone. They want to text message you. Y'all in the same car. You going to text message him. He right there. You know what I'm saying? Everybody in a hurry. I don't know where they going, but when they get there, oh, they going to be sorry. The faster you try to get there, that career, that money, and you're going to figure it out that, man, it was the journey. It was not the destination. You was in a hurry to get there, to come up, to be this, to be that. And when you get there, you're going to feel discouraged more than you did before you even started to get there. Because it was the journey, the people that you didn't stop to talk to like me at checkout. The people at the gas station. You was in a hurry to get there, but it was the journey. It was the gas station. It's checkers. It's the journey, not the destination. Because the destination is steadily evolving. We always growing in wisdom and knowledge and understanding. It's always evolving. And we can never obtain it because it's steadily, constantly evolving. The more humble you be, then the more you can be fulfilled with the truth. But when you think you got it and you're on your way, then you're going to get less of it because can't nobody talk to you. You can't stop. You're in a hurry. I would say this. It's a man with pushing a basket. This man right here, they brilliant now. Don't look at the outside appearance. I've seen him in action. He was pushing a basket. And I was under the bridge. And I was talking to everybody except him. He was the last person I talked to. He said, why didn't you talk to me first? He said, I should have talked. He said, don't you ever pass by a man pushing a basket and don't acknowledge him. I never do it in my life again. I talk to the person pushing that basket. How's your day? How you doing? I talk to the homeless people because he said, be careful how you entertain strangers. And most people that came off the street and they got their career together, they won't even let you know that they've been through it. They try to act brand new. It's a testimony. What you go through, it's for us to inspire somebody else. It's for me to pull the weak ones up. It's for you to pull the weak ones up. We don't go through this because of our own selfish reasons. We go through this to give them a testimony of how far God has brought me. It was never about me. I thought about me. Why I'm going through this. He said, back up, man. Who you going to inspire? Who you going to tell somebody about the glory and the grace of God if you don't go through it? Get out of yourself. And once I step back, I be seeing the deep things of God. And so I don't play with him. I don't ask him for a lot. I just say, give me my portion for the day. I don't want a lot of things. Just give me enough that I can deal with. He said, I give you, but fulfill your bond greater than you can ever ask. I know what you desire. I know what you need. But Lord, give me my portion where I can be grateful, where I can be thankful. They unthankful. They unholy. They ungrateful. They got a job. They don't want the job. They got 40 hours. You can't work on Saturdays. You can't work on Sundays. Now you got 3 days. They always complaining and griping and murmuring. Stop it. He said, be grateful with the little things. And wait, and I put you there. But he gonna put us in a place where they appreciate me in the job. I don't hate going to work. I gotta watch my back, that backstabber. You making the money, but I can't go to that job because I gotta watch my back. They hate us. Put me somewhere where I love going to work. I can get up and they appreciate my work and I blend in. God say, I'm gonna put you there, but if you wanna get it, go ahead and get it.
What do you think about haters?
That's a part of the balance in life. They hate. They don't know why they hate. Tell them why they hating sometimes. They don't know they hating. It's just standard thing. They get angry. He taught. Every way when he taught them. They hate. They don't even know why. Because they don't nobody teach them. Don't nobody take time to let them know why they're doing things they're doing. And that's the whole purpose of life. Let them know what they're doing wrong if you see it. I always knew I was doing wrong. What about when they showed me long suffering? What about when they forgave me, but I can't forgive him? He made a promise. I made a promise. I didn't fulfill it. They didn't go off on me. Well, I got to go off on him because he didn't fulfill his commitment. That's wrong. You got to teach. They don't know. The only God they know is through you, through your experience. They don't know about church because you can't go to church because it's a business. And all the church people, it's a clique, it's a club. And they done forgot about God, it's a business. Look here, it's just the world. Ain't nobody being bold and talking about God because don't pray in school, take the prayer out of school, all these things, it's the world. We're getting in a time where God is not popular no more. And if you talk about it, I believe in this. I don't care what you believe in. Let my spirit speak for me. Let my action. But it was a time when I was just a hearer and not a doer. But you got to balance out. You got to go through the fire in order to be a doer too. You're going to be a hearer, then you're going to be a doer. But don't let people throw you off your journey. You can't beat nothing. It's between your relationship with God. They can't understand you all the time because you're trying to figure out your way. I'm trying to figure out my way. I can't prove nothing to them all the time. I don't need them to figure me out. All I got to do is just be patient and do what was in my ability, my boundary. I don't need to outstep my boundaries. I ain't got to prove nothing to you. You didn't feel me? No. You can't gonna feel me. I can't put the expectation on you. I don't always feel me, understand me. So that's wrong. Be humble. Acknowledge him in all your ways. When I do wrong, I said something wrong to offend you, forgive me. I got to say it right away, get it over with. If I offend somebody at work, look, if they persecute me, look at God trying to strengthen me to show them who I serve. I say I believe, I'm walking with it. Well, teach them. They don't know. They don't know why they're doing that, to me. Let your light shine among men. They might glorify your Father in heaven. It's real, man. I experience it all the time, 24/7. But I asked for it. I wanted to be a preacher when I was 6, but I didn't know the price I had to pay. Much wisdom, much grief, much sorrow. Ain't no other way you're gonna get it. But if you can just go through the fire, you'll be like gold. The first thing they do when you go to a pawn shop and take what they do? How do they determine if it's gold plated or what? What they do? What kind of test they take it through? When you take the jewelry to the pawn shop, how do they determine if it's real or fake? They put it through the acid test. They put the fire upon it. This is how we know if we're real or fake. We're going to go through the fire. You're going to have disagreement with each other, but it's okay. You're going to be friends. But if you have a disagreement, it's just a different agreement. That don't mean you ain't got to see him no more and talk to her or talk to her or whatever. I want to go to work. I don't want to go to work because they stressing me out on the job. You feel me? They ain't receiving me with my full potential. And I don't know why I don't want to go to work. I got to understand why. Why I don't want the job? Because something ain't right. And I got to acknowledge it. I ain't going to sell my soul for the job. God said, I'm trying to put you over here, or I'm trying to let them know through you, let your light shine. But I'm hating on them because they ain't feeling me. They don't understand me. Hey, man, you got to teach them. You see how they flee?
Yeah.
They want $1, want a quarter. He could have got everything that he needed if he just would have been patient, but it's okay. You recording this?
Yeah.
It's okay. I'm telling the truth. It's all right. I thank God for you. Y'all are blessing to me. A true blessing. I ain't got nothing to hide. My burdens are heavy, but when I'm weak, he's strong through me. He speaks through me. The weaker I get, the more frustrated I get with my life, and I did this, I did that, then the more he speaks through me, the more he takes control of me. That's just where he wants you at. Get frustrated. That's when he gonna speak through you. But he gotta get you in that point where ain't nowhere else to go but to him. He said, those that I love, I correct them. I chastise them. Solomon was the wisest man that lived. He had everything that man could desire. But one thing God said, leave the foreign women alone. But he couldn't understand why he had a desire for the foreign women. But see, the Lord knew that they were going to turn his heart against him. They were going to make him idol worship and build a God. But he didn't understand it. And I'm going to say this, the preacher, he searched the world out. He said, I want to know the basis behind wisdom and knowledge and understanding and foolishness. See, you can't know wisdom and knowledge and should be a fool, but we don't want to be foolish. That's the only way you're going to get it. You got to be a fool first. How you going to know a fool when you see a fool? How you going to know foolishness if you haven't been foolish? Foolishness, it comes with, it's painful. Because we think we all of that. We got a lot of abilities. We can create. We can send man to the moon. We can be inventors, but we're limited. If I understand that I'm limited, then that's when God takes control and gives me the wisdom that I desire. Humility. Be humble. If you don't understand your purpose, ask God. But ask him in sincerity. What's my purpose, God? Did you ever ask that question? What's my purpose? Why I'm here? What am I meant to do? But sometimes he can't tell us all at once. It might be too much. But be sincere.
Heavenly Father, in Jehovah, I pray to you, Father, this you are the Spirit and the revealer of mysteries. In this day, Father, I bow before thee with a trembling gratitude, for thou hast hallowed another Sabbath dawn. And with it, Father, I seek the unveiling of the dark saying that is hidden from the eyes of the proud. And I thank thee, Father, for the words of Jehovah and for the mystery that thou shalt go forth this day. Showing me, Father, the mystery of the raven and the means of his likeness, that I may learn to discern between the messengers of light and the spirit that feeds upon the desolation. And I pray to cover me with the words of Jehovah beneath the wings of thy truth. The wilderness that is about me and is vast and full of shadows. A path narrow. And the air is thick with the voices and the echo, not thy word. I ask to guide me through this darkness. For thou alone art my light that pierces the night. The wilderness is full of mirages. And the ground beneath my feet remembers the bones of those who strayed. And yet, Father, I will not fear. For thy rod is wisdom, thy staff is correction. And if I must walk through this valley, where the ravens feed, let thy light burn within me and not become his meal. So I pray, Father, to feed me with the words of Jehovah. These are thy words. Until my soul is filled, let thy truth fill and fall upon the dew and the ashes of understanding, that form those ashes may rise in discernment, purified by fire. When the doctrines of deceit flutter around me, like the wings of the night, let thy word be the bread that sustains my vision. And make me, Father, to hunger not for the knowledge that is puffed up, but for the revelation that humbleth the heart. And let the scrolls of thy law unfold before my spirit, each line, each path, each precept a flame, and each commandment a wall against corruption. I pray to guide me with your words of Jehovah. For thou art my shepherd and my guide. Lead me this day in the mystery of thy patience, a light traveling through the storm, and let me not mistake the shadow for the source, nor the echo of thy voice that speaketh from heaven. Train my ears to hear thee in the midst of confusion. Train my eyes to see thee in the contrast between darkness and dawn, and let every step I take be in the rhythm of thy obedience. Every pause to be the stillness of trust. And I ask to protect me from the predators of the air and those messengers of whispered vanity and call it wisdom. Let no raven build a nest within my thoughts, and let no virtues circle about my soul, where deceit takes flight with glittering feathers. Let thy wings scatter its course, surrounding me with discernment sharper than the eagle's sight, and cause my spirit to soar in righteousness, where no unclean wings can follow. I pray to deliver me from all the beasts of the earth, the liars of this world hidden beneath the soil of comfort and gain. Let not the lion of pride roar near me, nor the serpent of craftiness coil around my peace. Expose every den where deceit lies breathing in darkness. And I ask to give me courage to walk past their openings, unafraid. The world is a forest thick with snares, Father. But thy law is the torch that keeps me and my footing sure. Because the words of Jehovah, thou hast brought light in the thick darkness. And let the parables, Father, of this day open my eyes, and let the mystery of the ravens reveal not only the unclean things, but also thy mercy and thy passion and thy patience that feedeth even the unworthy. So I pray, Father, to teach us. Teach us how to discern and to refuse and to overcome. When others feast upon carrion, these carcasses, O Father of all rebellion, let us feed upon our living bread on thy commandments. And when other dwells among ruins, let us dwell in the shadows of thy wings. Restore and make me whole. So it's this day, Father. This is the day that you send Jehovah. And I thank thee for the mystery and for the revelation. For the darkness that showeth contrast, and for the light that bringeth understanding. Keep my heart in reverence, my mind pure, my spirit in obedience. And let every word spoken today in this lesson be weighed by thy wisdom. And let every hearer discern the truth and hidden within the parable. For thou alone art my light in the wilderness, my shepherd through the shadows, my shield against the fowls of the air, my deliverer from the beasts of the earth. And Father, I pray this day to bear witness through the wilderness be dark, that thou art the light that endureth forever. And I pray this, Father, in the ways of Jehovah, and Jehovah I will always pray in. Amen. And shalom, everyone, shalom. I want to welcome everyone to the house of the Lost Sheep of Israel. I'm the pastor here, Elder Michael Johnson, also with King James Bible University. And I want to welcome each and every one of you guys here today. And we have a few announcements. And we have a very, very special teaching that will be happening today. And we're going to be going through the instruments, but we will be doing some today, and that'll only be happening in Zoom. So if you looking to be part of that, and make sure that you see that link there to where you can join. But one of the biggest things is we have a lot of people like to still get back there and start unmiking and different things. Please make sure once you join in and we get ready to get started, please make sure you turn your mic off. Because if we see your mic turning on, we're not going to warn you about turning your mic off. We're just going to remove you. And we have to do that because it's the weirdest thing to where we as a people, I don't get it. You have to physically turn it on. You have to physically do that. And they do it without question. So that's one. And then the other one is we do have a special announcement. We will be going on back there as soon as we get back there. And I will be letting you guys know about that. We also have, if you want to be registered for the for tabernacles, please make sure you take care of that, because this is going to be a little bit more strict on what's going on. Because many people take the Word of God, they take it as a game. And we know that the Word of God is not a game. So we got a few announcements back there about what you need to do, and I believe they already had the links to where you can get registered and get your rooms and everything. So all that'll be released back there to where you know exactly what to do. So with that, we're going to get ready, and I want to make sure that we understand this raven man. Predators of the air. I had to stop on last week and really let people understand what exactly was going on with this guy. And we have some information on him, and that I need you to really, really understand, and why I had to go through this with him. And I had to stop because this teaching is going to be focused on this raven man. Many of us been teaching all week, and they've been touching on this raven guy. But we want to understand him in detail. So what I want people to do is make sure you have your pencil, make sure you have something to write on. Most importantly, have your Bible, to where we're going to be going through what we need to go through. So what we get ready to do, we get ready to pull this up, and let me get some of this stuff out the way. And we're going to go through this Bible. And mainly we want to look at one of the main parts on what we need to see is this here. And we want to go to a couple of places. I want to show you something. Here. And I want you to keep this in mind as we start pushing through. As we start pushing through this, I want you to remember something. We're going to look at Romans 1:20. And we have to push this right now almost constantly, because I want to make sure this is so embedded in you, you can understand the differences between the Most High God and what he tries to show us. Because he says, for the invisible things of him, because he's God and you cannot see him because he's spirit, from the creation of the world are clearly seen. But how are they being seen? Being understood by the things that are made. So the only way we can understand God is understand by the things that are made. So when he even counsels us, we only can understand those by the things that are made, to where he can show us the similitude of what they are. Everybody follow me? I want to make sure everybody getting what I'm saying, because this is the only way this is going to work. I'm going to be talking a lot of parables and a lot of things, but hopefully you guys pay real close attention to the letter that was read by my spiritual daughter. But he's telling you this here. He says, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power in Godhead, so they are without excuse. So we don't have no excuse on what's going to happen. So let's go back to what we was doing over here. When we look at Leviticus chapter 11, but we're going to look at verse 13, I want you to pay attention to that, but I'm going to make sure you understand something that's really different. And he says this, and we only want parts of this because I'm going to show you something. And we want to look at this here, that part. And it says, and these are they which ye shall have an abomination among the fowls. So among these fowls, and you see it's a semicolon, so that's a full thought there, and he's telling us something there. So have an abomination, and the more clear, they shall not be eaten. You should not be learning of them. So as we get there and we pick up a little bit more, it tells us, they shall not be eaten. You shall not learn of them. They are abomination. I want you to pay real close attention on why I had to stop at this guy. Because it's going to tell you something. I want you to pay real close attention. It says, the eagle, the ostrich, the osprey, the vulture, the kite after his kind. Everybody catch that? I want to make sure we all clear on this. Did everybody catch that? All I want to see is eyes or ends. I want to make sure you clearly understood what was just said by God. But he tells you this here. And I want you to pay real close attention because I'm going to highlight it and make you understand what's going on. Because he says here in verse 15, it says, and every raven of his kind. This guy. Every raven of his kind. And you see it goes back to a forethought. But he named a lot of things here, but he went here and he said, every raven. That's interesting. That's where it gets really, 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 really interesting. Because we need to dig into this every raven. See, as we continue today with this spiritual instructions of abomination of these unclean fowls, those predators of the air who transverse spiritual atmosphere as messengers of darkness. Say they because of their destruction, their desolation. So what Jehovah reveals through creation is not accidental. We want to make sure we understand each other. Every creature bears witness to spiritual truth. You everybody follow me? Because with this, through natural behaviors of these fowls, we can comprehend the spiritual characteristics of men who bears their likeness. Everybody follow me? Let's go back here again. For the invisible things of him are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. We got to keep this in mind. So through this sacred doctrine, we're going to get to where the raven man, I want the moderator put in there, raven man. See, because we got to examine this spiritual abomination, this predatory fowl of the air, these creatures, and how Jehovah, he ordained that we today can probably comprehend the spiritual realities through the natural world, these beasts, these fowls, these creeping things that serve as living parables. Living parables. I'm going to put it back up there. I want you to see this here. I want to put it over here with this one. We're going to look at this in Leviticus chapter 11, picking it up at 1 and 2. And we'll see there, right there. It's real clear. And he says, and the Lord spake unto Moses and unto Aaron unto them. So the Spirit of God spoke unto Moses and to Aaron, saying to them, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, these are the beasts which ye shall eat among the beasts of all the earth. But we don't need that because he's going to get down here and then he's going to say, nevertheless, these shall ye not eat of them. And then he goes on down. But once we get down here to these dang fowls, it gets crazy. Because these are abomination. These are abominations to us. And these are which there should be abominations among the fowls. And they should not be eaten. They are abomination. They, the eagle, the ostrich, the osprey, the vulture, the kite of his kind, every raven. Interesting. The reason why This law commands absolute rejection, this abomination, and not just unclean, but utterly detestable, because they completely condemn through, and we have to thoroughly reject these creatures of darkness are declared abominable, not merely for dietary purposes, but for spiritual instructions revealing their characteristics. These men who walk in spiritual darkness, these men of perdition, rebellions against the laws of Jehovah. Keep that in mind. See, when Jehovah declare these fowls abomination, he reveals a couple of things. Write them down. Don't forget it. Don't come in the back later. I need to know what these are. Write it down. Because this is what they're going to reveal. It's going to reveal spiritual influences, which messengers, which doctrines, which characteristics of men we must refuse absolutely every time. To eat of these fowls mean you're going to internalize their nature. You're going to learn from their examples, to adopt their methods, to permit their spiritual functions to influence our conduct. So this is why it says it's so important in Romans 1:20, for the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power in Godhead, so they're without excuse. See, Jehovah has written truths into creation itself. The behavior of fowls and the natural world reveal the spiritual functions of men who bear these characteristics. So through observation of natural creation, ravens' feeding pattern, even when you get the owl, not these nocturnal deceptions, bad inverted existence, we'll be getting to those. We understand spiritual realities, making our choices either good or bad, and they're going to be without excuse. So the evidence that stands before us of every creature that Jehovah has created, declared an abomination, we got to be clear. So when we're looking at the raven man doctrine, it's dependent on the understanding. So we're going to get some understanding here. We want to understand exactly what he's talking about. We want to get a better understanding. So with this raven man, I want you to understand about something, about this guy. I want you to understand this guy. See, ravens is scavengers and opportunists. I want you to understand what these are. See, and I'm going to give you these natural characteristics. And if you don't get it, go back and rewind it. Stop playing the game. Because we're lazy about what we do now. So when you see this ravens primarily feeds on carrion. Carrion, I already told you last week, that's carcasses. That's dead, decomposing flesh. But also, this actively, he hunts on smaller prey. His opportunity, when it presents itself, ravens are devouring scavengers, having this extremely versatile diet. Carrion, carcasses, they eat on insects, they eat on grain, they eat small animals. They go eat nesting birds. They in food waste. They thrive on death and decay, their population. Understand where these guys coming from. Their population decreases dramatically in areas where spiritual desolation is. In some region, it can report so quickly a 700% increase on ravens. You follow me? So this deception, this thief, this cunning intelligence of ravens. See, ravens have even been observed to where they have been observed pushing rocks on people. You follow me? They've been observed doing this. They will push rocks on people. People climbing up into their nests. They steal packages. They steal meat from shopping carts. They can even play dead beside carcasses to scare other ravens away. Why? Because they got the intelligence of a 7-year-old. So if raven knows other ravens is watching it hide its food, it'll pretend to put food in one place. In reality, hide it else somewhere else. See, ravens possess this extraordinarily cognitive ability, including tools, crafting, towards planning. They have a deceptive behavior. See, they can hide food from other ravens by pretending to cache in one location while actually hiding it elsewhere. See, they call wolves, literally, they would get wolves to these carcasses so predators would tear open what the ravens cannot access alone. So the group of ravens call these unkindness is treachery or a conspiracy. And seeing ravens not only do that, they work through manipulation. Ravens. See, ravens will distract one animal while other ravens steal its food. Did you know that? These are ravens. They got the intelligence of a 7-year-old. See, ravens' predatory nature. See, often they consider scavengers, but ravens actively prey on smaller birds. It's a crack up. They prey on their eggs and they prey on vulnerable prey. They work in pairs. They raid colonies. One bird distracting and the other eggs seizing their young. See, I'm telling you this because we're going to transfer this to men. See, they attack newborn lambs who giving birth. They manipulate other animals for their benefit, letting others to do the work for them. Ravens. That's why he says, every raven of his kind. Why? You got to reject these jokers because they ain't nothing to play with. See, they aggressively and feeding ravens seized by force. They feed greedily. They engage in ravenous consumption. Ravens. See, don't think you're playing with something simple because ravens keep memories. They hold grudges. The bird. They hear memories and they hold grudges. Why? Ravens, they possess this episonic, what they're called, this episonic memory, similar to humans. They remember individual faces. Think about it. They hold grudges for up to even a month, they have found out. So, to where they will get you. They refuse to work for those who cheated them. So if one raven dogged him out when they was hooking somebody up, and the other one being just who he is, that raven sit there and say, I can't work with you, dog. Dog, I can't work with you no more. See, and tell you something else about ravens. Did you know ravens can mimic human speech? They do it better than parrots. Them same ravens you see out there flying around, them same ravens can talk no different than you. They can mimic your speech. They can make noises with accuracy, far surpassing parrots. They're so sophisticated in their gestures, they employ more than 30 different vocalizations for manipulations and communications. Did you know that? The raven, that joker right there, he ain't nothing to play with. See, when you even look in the spiritual dictionary, see, raven as he seized by force, destroyer, desolation, feed greedily. You see, so the raven man, he embodies these characteristics. I want you to keep that in mind. He embodies these characteristics. So as he embodies these characteristics, we got to understand what he's all about. See, the raven man operates on a spiritual atmospheric level. In these characteristics, he sees by force. The raven man. He does not ask, he does not request, he does not petition, he takes. He approaches assembly to doctrines and resources and is one of the forceful appropriations. Where others build, he sees. Where others plant, he uproots and claims for himself. See, he's a destroyer. The raven man. He brings destruction, not reformation, not correction, but utter destruction. He does not enter assembly to build, but he entered to dismantle. He does not come with solutions, but he comes with accusations to tear down what stands. See, he's also part of desolation, what I just told you. See, the raven man thrives on desolation. He don't mourn when assemblies collapse. He feeds on the remains. You got to remember, he feeds on carcasses. So his message is not restoration, but rather a declaration for permanent ruin. See, and he feeds greedily. The raven man. He consumes without discernment, without restraint, without consideration of others. He gorges himself on spiritual carrion, carcasses, the failures of others, the weakness, the struggles. See, when he has this spirit of greed and covetousness, this raven man operate under this insatiable appetite. I just want to show you this. I want to show you this as we talking. He has this insatiable appetite. In Proverbs, we're going to look at this in 23:20. We're going to see something. 23:20, and it tells us this. It's real clear. It says, be not among wine bibbers, among riotous eaters of flesh, for they are drunkards, and glutton shall come to poverty, and the drownness shall clothe a man with rags. That's interesting. That's highly interesting. I'll tell you why. See, the raven man, his emotional detachment from suffering of others revealed through true nature. He views collapse not tragedy, but it requires intervention. But he sees it as an opportunity to require exploration. So when you consider an assembly that once gathered in strength of families of 50s, meeting weekly to study the law, maintaining the Sabbath observed, teaching their children and Jehovah precepts, but division entered through the doctrine of men, personalities clash with over leadership. That's what happens. That's what happens. See, then gradually families stop attending. So within a few months, the assembly dwindled. The 50 scattered souls, meeting irregular, uninsured in their direction, grieving the lost fellowship. And this, actually, I'm going to show you something. I want to show you this because you got to see this. Because I'm going to show you, actually, I'm going to use it. Let me use it here. I want to put up two things. And I want you to make sure you clearly understand where I'm coming from. We're going to look at Hebrews 10:25, but I want to put another one. I want to put this one over here. We're going to put this reiteration of the law in Deuteronomy 16:16. I want you to see something. And we're going to see something. We're going to see something here. So it says, not forsaking the assembly of ourselves together as comparing the matter as some is. See, we got some people so stupid, even here, we got some people still stupid, still believe they supposed to assemble in a church building. Even some here. Don't think I'm going to bite my tongue. You can kill that. And it says, but exhorting one another. So you don't assemble how you see these people out there doing, as some is, but you exhort one another, and so much more you see the day approaching. Why? Why is this being said this way? Because the assembly is commanded. We have to assemble. But when you look at Deuteronomy 16:16, it's going to reiterate what I was saying. 3 times a year shall all males appear before the Lord thy God in the place where he shall choose. Now, people are going to say, all males, all males, all males. Hell no, we getting ready to clear that too. And it says, in the feast, unleavened bread, 1, that's the Passover. The Feast of Weeks, The Feast of Tabernacles, that's what's coming up. They shall not appear before the Lord empty. That's why I said, you better not show up at this dang tabernacles empty. And it says, verse 17, every man, M-A-N. So that's talking about the male, that's talking about the female. Your butt need to be there. But don't think, oh, I don't beg. I don't beg none of y'all to show up nowhere. See, because some people here think we should be gracious when they but show up somewhere. You got the wrong pastor. Because it's not me. We doing what's required. So he's telling us this. It says, according to the blessings of the Lord thy God, which he have given thee. That's the point. That's the point. And it's telling you with every man. So between these appointed assemblies, followers of Christ is to exhort. So between these, we exhort one another weekly, daily, in the meetings, in other houses, while maintaining the covenant relationship without these weekly gatherings, how these people do in these building institutions, using their religious traditions imposed beyond scriptural command. He didn't tell you to be in no building because he said he don't reside there. So when followers of Christ forsake these appointments, and just in case somebody say, well, no, you have to be there. I just want to show you something. Just make sure you're still there. Don't move. Just stay right there. Stay right there. It says, for Christ is not entered, and that's Hebrews 9:24. For Christ is not entered to holy places made with hands. But guess what? I just want to show you this just for those people who said, no, I think we still supposed to do it. No, I just want you to see this in God that made the world and all things therein, seeing that he is the Lord of heaven and earth, dwelleth not in temples made with hands. Just for those people who new people here. Just letting you know. Just letting you know. He ain't there. So I don't know who you're going to see. But you being a hoe. Because you're saying you love God, but you being a hoe, as Elder Jenkins was saying, going in the buildings to see your man. Being a hoe. Believe it or not. So we had these followers of Christ. We've forsake these appointed feasts. See, it's 3 feasts that Jehovah established. So when they isolate themselves from exhortation between appointment times, they become vulnerable to perdition, meaning you become prey. Scattered sheep without shepherds, true feeders. So you got these feeders that came from the shepherd. And then when you fail to appear at Jehovah's appointed times, refusing mutual exhortation during these intervals, these become easy prey for wolves and ravens alike. So these churches multiply meetings beyond Jehovah's commands, binding heavy burdens. Pastor's appreciation. Tell me, who ever been to a church and they don't have a pastor appreciation? Because they don't have them. They're going to have a building fund. They're going to have them. They need to buy air conditioners. They need to buy carpet. They need to paint the walls. They need to put the roofs up. They need to put kitchens together. They need to get all electrical kind of stuff together. They need to paint the outside. They need to change the asphalt. They need to put in big TV systems. Tell me they don't do it. They buying heavy burdens on you. And these are those who attend these weekly, but they forsake the 3 appointed feasts, neglect these true exhortations, creating the illusion of assembly and missing Jehovah's actual requirements. So now when we observe this raven man who arrives, he never attends the assemblies that stood when the 50 stood strong. The labor was too great. They committed to demanding the accountability to present. But now when the assembly is weakened, these resources accumulate over the years, sitting unused, and he appears with his ministry. He don't come to restore it. He comes to redistribute. He comes in with his timing and reveals his nature. He arrives not during the battle, but after the defeat. He comes not when the assembly stands strong, but requiring courage to oppose, but when it lies weakened, requiring only opportunists to plunder. See, that's like the nature of the raven. He circles above the battlefield, waiting for the carnage to happen. The raven man watches the assembly from a distance, waiting for the very moments of collapse, and then he can descend without resistance. Without resistance. This spiritual truth. See, these true feeders remain with the flock during the storm. Raven mans appear only after devastation, claiming to have they coming to help. I say, I come to help, while actually positioning himself to see what remains. See, he approaches the remaining elders with his wisdom. I'm telling you, they some slick jokers. See, this assembly has failed, dare say. Jehovah has clearly withdrawn his favor rather than to waste the resources on the dead works, transform them over to my ministry, and it can be used more effectively. He speaks with authority of one who saw this coming. I seen this coming. Though he was nowhere present when the warning could have prevented the collapse, but he positioned himself as a savior while functioning as a scavenger. You follow me? His wisdom, he simply, in this observation of decay, his insight is merely a identification of others have already been wounded. He positions himself now as a prophet after desolation, declaring what's obvious to call, claiming this foreknowledge, and an observer can see this approaching. So this false prophecy. So he declares after the fact what was already known. It stands stark as this contrast, this true prophetic memory of this ministry. So when this warning before judgment falls, he offers a pathway to repentance and restoration. But he seizes the moment, and what he going to do? He going to seize the bank accounts. He going to seize the accumulated through the years of these people who was giving their money, and he claims it for himself. The effective ministry elsewhere. So he takes this law book and teaches materials, record lectures and contact lists, and he approaches the scattered families individually, speaking evil of the former leadership, recruiting the confused with his following. He feeds greedily upon these resources. Every relationship, every bit of spiritual capital he can assemble over the years. This raven man. I remember a church once. They tried to get all the old people to come back to this building so you can scavenge some more. He did it perfectly. He came in, told these people they couldn't afford a house, that they was paying for it, that the church was paying for it. He took the house for himself. He's a raven man. Just found another way to do it. So when everyone who appears confident with simple explanations of their pain, even those explanations involve slander, even if the help offered consistent, merely absorbing them into this man's empire. When the treasury is empty, the family is dispersed, various assemblies are isolated in their homes. The raven man, guess what he does? He moves on. He does not build, he does not plant, he does not restore. He sees, he destroys, he feeds on desolation, and then he flies away, seeking the next collapse, the next spiritual carrion upon which he can feast. See, this is the raven man, functions precisely according to his nature. Seized by force, destroyer, desolation, feed greedily. This raven feeds greedily upon dead things. Dead things. The same place I'm telling you about, if a woman came in there and said, this place is dead. And she got up and walked out. She said it out of her own mouth. Heard her say it. She looked around and said, this place is dead. Got up, left. There's no life there. Corrupt traditions, divorced from commandments of Jehovah, worldly pleasures that lead spiritual death. His ministry leaves nothing behind but greater desolations than existence before his arrival. So I want to show you something so we can see this. Because the raven's testimony always is throughout Scripture. Always throughout Scripture. We got to look at this. Let me show you something. Let's look at something. In Genesis 8, it's Genesis 8 and 7. And we want to look at this all the way to verse 9, but let me highlight that. We want 8, 7. But we're going to take it down to 9. We're going to go down to 9. It says, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. And he also sent forth a dove from him. You see what he did? He sent two at the same time. First he sent forth the raven, and then he also he sent forth a dove to see if the waters was abated off the face of the ground. But the dove found no rest for the sole of her foot, and she returned to him in the ark, and the waters were on the face of the whole earth. And he put forth his hand and took her and pulled her into the ark. Did you catch it? Did you catch it? I'm gonna show you something. See, because the raven went forth first, but he never returned. But the people want to say, why? Why he didn't return? Because the raven found what he saw floating. He seen carrion. He seen carcasses, death on the waters. Seen people out there dead as a doorknob. This raven man was sent forth from the ark of safety, not to return because he find subsistence in the floods of water of judgment. So while the dove finds no rest, she returns back. She goes back. She don't see nothing. She goes back. Let's look at something. We're gonna keep this rolling. In Proverbs chapter 16, verse 18, we're gonna see something. It says, pride goeth before destruction. That's why he sent that one first. In the haughty pride before the fall. That's why he did that. That's why that happened. Because I want you to understand what happened. I want you to get what's going on. So with this raven man, he abandoned his duty. Why? The raven, let's look at it. We got to look at it. I want to unhighlight this. I want to show you something. See, the raven went to and fro, feeding on floating carcasses rather than returning to report who sent him forth. See, the spiritual death of this passage, it tells us something. See, Noah sent forth the raven and shows the commission to go forth, to assess the condition and return with this report. The raven accepted in sending, but he rejected to return. He said, oh, no, I'm good. All this substance out here, hell no, I ain't going back. I'm good. I'm good. That's the raven man. He good. He's good from that point. That's why. Why he's good from that point? He's good about it. He's good about that. So we got to understand what's going on here. We got to clearly get what is happening here. When this was happening all the time. When this was going on every time. He went to and fro. But the raven man's fundamental betrayal, see, he gonna accept the authority when he serves his purpose. He receives the blessing of the position, but he refuses accountability, the loyalty, that require the sacrifice and immediate gratification. So the dove finding no rest. So you got to remember what the dove did. The dove didn't find no rest. Dove didn't find nothing. So the dove finding no rest demonstrated the covenant of faithfulness by returning to Noah despite uncomfortable circumstances. The raven finding plenty of eating on, plenty of food to eat with. Boy, this boy, he got more food out here than the law allowed. Demonstrated the covenant abandonment by straying and feeding was good despite the obligation to return. This pattern repeat throughout Scripture, throughout assemblies of Jehovah's people. Some return to the covenant despite the difficulty. Some abandon the covenant because of immediate benefit. Why do I say that? I'm going to show you this. Because we want to be real clear. We want to be upfront with one another. And we're going to look at Job 1, we're going to look at 7. Because the Lord said unto Satan, which cometh thou? Satan answered and said, actually, I want to highlight that. Satan said what? From going to and fro. From going to and fro. Satan, yeah, I'm going to and fro. See, Satan did the same thing. See, the same phrase Satan used carries this profound spiritual significance. Going to and fro. See, this raven man shares this restless, this predatory movement with Satan's himself. It consistently searching, constantly seeking opportunities to devour, never rests in the covenant relationship, never settles in the ark of safety. This to and fro existence reveals souls without anchor. Are we clear? This existence reveals a soul without anchor, without a home, without a covenant commitment. This soul that feeds on whatever's feeding is available and moves when resources are exalted. You follow me? Are you with me? See, this is what it's all about. This is what it's all about now. So this is why it gets so caught up. I want to do something real quick. One second. I want to sit there. And see why this is oh, that's why it's doing that. One second, you guys. Let me just get something. There we go. Bingo. There we go. So I wanted to get that one, and let me get this one the same way. One second. That one's already like that. Okay. So let me get that. Just wanted to get that set. So we got those set. Making sure. Yep, we got it all set. So we just want to make sure we got all this set. But I want you to understand something with this. See, we got to remember one thing. See, ravens also fed Elijah. We can't denounce that, because ravens fed Elijah. But I'm gonna actually show it to you, because I want you to see this, and we'll find this in 1 Kings. But everything we're gonna go through, I promise you, I'm gonna explain it, because we can make sure we get everything. So in 1 Kings 17:2, but we're gonna go down through 6, and you see it says, the word of the Lord came unto him, saying, get thee hence and turn thee eastward and hide thyself in the brook of Cherith, and that is before Jordan. Don't worry, I'm gonna explain all this to you in 1 second. And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens. You see the ravens. You see it's right here. I commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according to the word of the Lord, to the Spirit of God. And for he went and dwelt by the brook of Cherith, instead in that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. But we need to understand this. We need to understand this. See, we need to understand something if they like this. So we have to understand the instruction requiring careful spiritual understanding, not commentary stupidity that they teach out there. See, we got to understand the raven is what he is. But Jehovah commanded Elijah to hide himself by the brook of Cherith. The brook, and it's called spiritually the brook of separation. Write that down. The brook of separation. You write it down. Write it down. Stop playing the little dumb game beside getting in the back. Say, I missed. I didn't get that. I didn't get that. Okay, rewind it, play it. See, because this brook of separation that stands before Jordan, the place of crossing over, spiritually. So spiritually, the brook means provision, the boundary, the cleansing is being purged, improving. The warning according to the seasons. So this brook, I want you to understand what I'm saying. This brook are branch channels of Preson distributing in Havilah that flows through them, refines like gold and renders verdicts like onyx, tokens on ephah. So Elijah positioned himself at the threshold, at the boundary between his old life and new, where the brook provides refreshing, cleansing, purging, proves, warnings according to Jehovah's appointed seasons. So at this place of separation, improving, Jehovah commanded the ravens, unclean fowls, scavengers, destroyers, to feed his prophet. Does this sanctify the ravens? No. Does this make them clean? No. It reveals that Jehovah can command even abomination or abominable things to serve his purpose for his elect. That's all it proved. Ravens brought bread and flesh spiritually, meaning knowledge and doctrine, and flesh as clothed raiment that needed to cover himself. The ravens brought this knowledge and doctrine. They brought the clothing and covering, yet Elijah was sustained with this knowledge and doctrine, with the clothing and raiment that Jehovah commanded these unclean fowls to deliver to him. See, the spiritual death, on what I'm showing you, it confronts stupidity of Christian theology, because Jehovah does not require clean instruments to accomplish his purpose. He commanded these unclean ravens to deliver knowledge and doctrine, to prove the covering and raiment, to feed his prophet twice a day, morning and evening, establishing a regular pattern of provision through abomination. This humbles Elijah at the brook of separation, reminded him that this substance, his knowledge, his doctrine, his covering, his raiment, comes not from his own righteousness, not from his own clean resources, but solely from Jehovah's sovereign power. This brook cleanses, purges, proves the warning, while the ravens delivered what the brook could not produce. Ravens could not refuse Jehovah's command despite their nature. The raven man. Through operating according to abomination in his own purposes, becomes unwitting instruments of Jehovah's provision for his elect. See, sometimes Jehovah permit provisions, knowledge and doctrine, covering raiment, to come through unclean channels to humble his servants. To demonstrate his sovereign power over all creation, the raven remains an abomination, but it serves Jehovah's purpose for the season, delivering knowledge and doctrine in the morning, in the evening, proving with his covering and his raiment in the appointed times. got to understand. Actually, I'm going to tell you what. Let's do something. Let me go here. Put a little bit more on this, and we got to go a little bit deeper. Let's go out 46, Isaiah 46, and we're going to pick this up at verse 10. And it says, declaring the end from the beginning and from the ancient times, that the things that are not yet done, saying, my counsel shall stand, and I will do all my pleasure, calling the ravenous birds. I call them bad boys. I call them up. He'll call them up from the east. The man that executeth my counsel from a far country, yea, I have spoken it, I will bring it to pass, and I have purposed it, and I will do also. I will also do it. He do what he want to do. This is his world. We just in it. So the raven man through the remaining abominations. You got to understand what he's about. He used that abomination, that abominable nature, good for good things and bad for bad things. But this unwittingly served Jehovah's purpose, usually by being an instrument for proving or to bring resources, and he has scavenged to those Jehovah has chosen them. So this raven man may deliver knowledge through corrupted of his own teachings, but he proven doctrine, though twisted in his own ministry. He offered covering through this sustained method, which brings raiment through stolen from others. Jehovah commands this delivery, and the elect to receive what Jehovah ordained, not because the raven is clean, but because Jehovah is sovereign. He's sovereign. And you got to remember one thing. He makes no mistakes. None. Period. And see, when these ravens, you got to remember one thing. Ravens was not invited to the party. They weren't invited to the ark. The ravens were not invited to the ark. They were commanded to serve, then dismiss. See, even after Elijah's season at Cherith, after the times of separation, cleansing, purging, proving, the warning through the threshold, he sent them to Zephyrah. And Zephyrah spiritually means the place of refining. Zephyrah, that woman, the place of refining, where she is refined. To be sustained by this widow, this raven were released. It was commanded to serve these temporary purposes. This brook of provisions, this boundary season ended, proving concluded that Elijah crossed over a new provision through this channel of Jehovah, designated his refinement, his progression was revealed through that pattern. And actually, better yet, I want to show you something. Let's look at this in 2nd Esdras. We'll pick this piece up and get that one piece there. In 2nd Esdras, picking it up at 7, looking at verse 9, it tells us this real clear. It says, if a city were given unto a man, a male or female, in an inheritance, how in the hell you going to get something and you ain't never went through nothing? But it says, and if he never passed the dangers that set before it, exactly what I'm saying. Why in the world he going to, same I say every time and time again, how many of you guys, how many of us, because I didn't do it, I refused to do it. How many of anybody who sat there and bought their children cars? Anybody. You can put I in there, because I'm going to talk about you as soon as you put it in there anyway, because I'm going to talk about you even if you don't put it in there. Because you got many people that bought your kid cars, and then they treat them like dirt. You can't tell me you ain't did it. You sit there, bought your kid this car, sitting there thinking they're going to keep it nice, and the first thing they do, they treat it like dirt. Why? They ain't went through nothing to get it. So they ain't got to do nothing with it. Just tell them, I just tell them, buy me another one. See, if a city were given unto a man for an inheritance, provided he never passed the danger set before it, how shall he receive this inheritance? How in the hell you gonna get something and you ain't went through nothing? Please. Sit there, your dang kid ain't, I'm talking about he sits, he sleeps with baby. And the first thing, my kid, he a good kid. Your kid is Satan himself. And the first thing, I just wanted to have a car. Yeah, you fool. Fool, fool. People in there, but I did that. Okay, all right. You don't change from being a fool. How can this city be given unto a man, a male or female, for an inheritance, provided he never passed a day and they never went through nothing to see what they need to take to get the car? They don't know what it takes to take care of the car. They don't know what it takes to change the stuff on it. They don't know what it takes to the insurance. They don't know what it takes, but you're going to get the kid the car. Go in the mirror, look at that, and see it's not fool on your forehead. It's there. So we got to remember, Cherith, it represents the dangers that's set before the inheritance. Elijah must pass through that narrow path of those abominations that fed him. See, it feeds him where provision flowed through these unclean channels where the brook of separation proves his humility and his dependence upon Jehovah alone. And if he refused these dangerous passages, and if he rejects that substance delivered by those ravens, and he demanded clean provisions according to his own righteousness, he cannot receive the inheritance that waited for Zephyr on the other side. He was screwed. Boy, let's go down a little bit. Let's drop down here to verse 12. Okay. Let's explain this in 2nd Esdras chapter 12, picking chapter 7, looking at verse 12. We're going to take it down to 16. It says, then were the entrances of the world made narrow, full of sorrow and travail. But hell, some of y'all didn't do that. Some of y'all bought these cars. The entrance was made narrow. Some of y'all bought the cars. So they ain't going to go through sorrow. They ain't going to go through travail. They ain't going to get on the bus. Why? I don't want my kid on the bus. Yeah, okay. See, they are but cruel and evil, full of perils, and very painful. The entrance of the elder world were wide and sure. That's the one you put them on. Just letting y'all know, this is the road you put your kids on, or you was on it, because your parents bought your car. And were wide and sure and brought immortal fruit. And if they live and labor not, you see, actually, I want to highlight that. I want to highlight just that. It said, if they lived and labored not to enter these straight and vain things, how then they can never receive those that are laid up for them. Meaning, nowhere in the hell y'all gonna get in there. Say what you want to say. It's right there in front of you. It's right in front of you. But it gets better. If, meaning providing then, they that live, labor not to enter these straight and vain things can never receive those things that is laid up for them. Now, therefore, disquiet thyself, seeing thou art but a corruptible man, a male or female, and why art thou moved, whereas thou art but mortal? Please, why hast thou not considered in thy mind that this thing that is to come, rather than that which is present? Why in the hell you did this? See, chariot is the narrow interest, full of sorrow, full of travail. That's why he was there. But this interest is few and evil and these prophets. See, it got few prophets that endure this. It's few of us. So many people going to stay tied to flesh, which is flesh. No matter what. They're going to stay to flesh. So evil that these unclean fowls delivered bread and flesh and full of perils and very painful and perils of these ravens who might not come in these pain, this humiliation that Jehovah commands scavengers to feed these dang servants. Actually, I'm gonna show it to you because you want to see it. I'm gonna show it to you because we keep talking about it, but I want to show it to you. We're gonna drop down to verse 9. I want you to see this, and it says, "Arise." He's talking to Elijah. talking to Elijah. We're gonna understand the story. Right. And get thee to Zephyr. Remember the lady I was just telling you about. That's the one who gonna sustain him. And then it says, which belonged to Zidon and dwelleth there. Remember, behold, I have commanded a widow there to sustain, exactly what I've been saying. And so he arose and went to Zephyr and came to the gate of the city. And remember, the widow was there gathering the sticks, and he called her and said, fetch me, I pray thee, a little water in a vessel that I may drink. And as she was going to fetch it, he called to her and said, bring me, I pray thee, a morsel of bread. But watch what happened, because you got to understand what's going on here. You got to understand what's happening. She said, as the Lord thy God liveth, I have not a cake. I ain't got nothing. But a handful of meal in a barrel, in a little bitty oil in a curse. And he remembered, and behold, he remembered, I am gathering 2 sticks, that I may go in and dress it for me. Watch what this woman's saying. For me and my son. I got enough just for me and my son, that we may eat and die. Elijah, no, we ain't got nothing for you. I got something for you. No, I got something just for me and my son. That's it. I ain't got nothing for nobody else. But watch what happened. Elijah said unto her, fear not. No, don't trip. Go and do as thou hast said. But make me thereof a little cake first. Make me the cake first. And bring it unto me. And after make for thee and for thy son. So then after you make for y'all. But do me first. For thus saith the Lord God of Israel. So you see what it said. The barrel of meal is not waste, neither shall the curse of oil fail, until the day that the Lord sendeth rain upon the earth. She went and did according to the saying of Elijah. She went and did it. And she and he in her house did eat many days. Just because of that obedience, she was saying, I ain't got nothing for you. I got something for me and my son. I ain't got nothing for you. No. Hold it. 1 second. 1 second. You do this for me, because you doing this for the Lord. We want to see where you stand. We're going to see where you stand. In the barrel of meal wasted not, neither did the curse of oil fail, according to the word of the Lord, which he spake by Elijah, So the Lord was talking to her the entire time. So we see this widow's handful of meal, little, seeing vain, it is Raven's provision. She labored in faith to enter into the narrow way. And through her obedience, both Elijah and her received which was laid up. Sustained provisions through multiplications rather than scavenging, refined faith rather than humbled endurance. And then you sit there and you see this mortal edification rather than unliteral dependence upon the abominations. So this teaches us that the provisions brought by the raven men being in these Christian locations was temporary. Circumstantial, never intended as a permanent pattern. That's why some of y'all, when y'all got woke up, y'all left. Some of y'all and some of y'all people stayed there. So this is painful for a lot of people, because you see your people there, they're all going to hell. They stay in there, they going to hell. It's this bottom line. Might be your mama, your daddy, your husband, your wife, your kids. Let them stay there, they're going to hell. It's a simple analogy. Not hard. Real simple. But the thing we got to understand is it's painful interest to test whether we will labor to pass through the dangers, whether we will be disacquainted and move with the present corruption rather than considering what is to come. So when we as a people, and we receive what Jehovah's commanded to be brought the knowledge and the doctrine and covering and arraignment, we do not invite them into the covenant relationship. We do not adopt their methods. We do not eat of their nature. We take the bread of flesh and deliver in the morning and evening. We drink of the brook and cleanse and proves. We labor through the narrow entrance in full of sorrow, in travail, because hell, they ain't gonna run with you on that. But we recognize that this remains abomination despite the temporary service at Jehovah's command. We press forward towards Zephyr. Where it's little bitty stuff over there, but the refinement awaits for our inheritance to receive those who pass through the dangers that set before it. You follow me. You guys follow me. I know you get me now, but let's get something. Let's look at something. In Jeremiah, let's look at something. In Jeremiah chapter 11, looking at verse 9, it says, in chapter 9, verse 11, we're going to see something. He says, I will make Jerusalem. He going to make Israel. He going to make all Israel. I'm going to make Jerusalem. I'm going to make Israel heaps in a den of dragons. I will make the cities of Judah desolate without an inhabitant. What? Yeah, you see what he's saying it out of his own mouth. So when Jehovah brings desolation and judgment, the raven, he moves in. See, the raven is going to move in. And once he moves in, see, this phrase, without the inhabitants, see, it seems contradictory, don't it? But it's really not. See, if ravens and dragons inhibit the ruins, how can it be without the inhabitant? So the spiritual understanding, what we got to really understand is Jehovah do not count unclean fowls and beasts as inhabitants. Now do you get me? I told you. Now do you understand what I'm saying? See, the occupancy of space, but they do not constitute legitimate habitation. They are seen as squatters. Squatters. I know y'all done heard it. I know y'all done heard that name. Squatters. Scavengers, not residents. See, the land stands desolate for the righteous inhabitants, the covenant people, those who bear Jehovah's image in the present. See, the presence of raven men it confirms whether they contradict the desolation. So we got to understand something. Keep this in mind. You got to understand this. You have to understand this, because I'm talking in parable, but I know you should get it. You should get it. Other you get it. If you don't get it, I already know you don't meditate. So that's be said. We're going to make that clear. If you don't meditate, I know you're not going to get it, because I've been talking spiritual the entire time. So the Hebrew for the other people who don't know. So let's finish this out. So what we got to understand 4 spiritual characteristics. Four spiritual characteristics in creation. Keep this in mind. One, we got to remember. So first we got to remember this. We want to look at something. I'm going to pull this up there. We're going to look at Colossians. We're going to go to Colossians. And Colossians is pretty cool. Colossians, we're going to look at 3:5. And I also want to put up Exodus 2:15. Because that's going to be for something else. Because I'm going to give you a couple of keys. I'm going to give you a couple of keys to where you can take with you. And so the first one is, you want to keep this on there. The first thing you got to remember of what a dang raven is. A raven is the spirit of covetousness. He's a thief. He seizes by force. Keep that in mind. Why? The raven man is driven by covetousness. He identifies as idolatry. Why? Because I'm showing you right here. It says, so mortify therefore the members which are upon the earth: fornication, uncleanness, indolent, affections, evil concupiscence, covetousness, which is idolatry. Bingo. This elevates covetousness. Levels of idolatry becomes covetous man worship and what he deserves rather than what Jehovah provides. Now, do you get me? Because so the raven man feel he deserved what belongs to others. They've been teaching on this all week. A raven man believes he deserves what belongs to others, seasoned by force what Jehovah has not given him. Yeah. See, he manifests and he's being made known as a thief of other man's labors or property. You see this directly violating this here, Exodus 2:15. It says what? Thou shalt not steal. I'm going to say it again. Exodus 20:15. Thou shalt not steal. Everybody get that? Everybody get it? See, the raven man, he extends beyond physical property. He steals credit of others' work. Dang. They say, Elder Johnson throwing rocks all out there. Yeah, they steal credits of other works. They don't give it to the person who actually brought it out. They just steals it. See, and then they steal influence through manipulation. They steals loyalty through slander of rightful leadership. He practiced adultery. He takes another man's wife, which actually tells you in verse 14. It says, thou shalt not commit adultery. He do that too. He do that too. And guess what else they do? Guess what else they do? You're going to trip. Verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. That's what they do. They bear false witness to gain advantage for breaking this. So we got to see how he works it. He manipulates weights and measures, which is condemned. Actually, it shows you. Actually, I got to keep up with this because right now my mind is rolling. My mind is rolling and rolling. But first, Deuteronomy chapter 25, looking at verse 13, it tells us this. It says, thou shalt not have in any bag divers weights of great or small. Thou shalt not have in thy house divers measures, a great and a small. But watch what's given here. But thou shalt have a perfect and just weight. A perfect and just measure thou shalt have in thy days, in thy length in it, in the land which the Lord thy God giveth. Here it go. For all that do such things, and all that do unrighteously are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. Boom. Boom. That's a mic drop. Mic drop. But then we got another one. We got this other one. Two, we got to remember something. We got the spirit of deception and treachery. We got the spirit of deception and treachery that's rolling around here. What do you mean? So when you're looking at the raven, we're looking at the raven man, and I'm showing you, we leading up to where you can see this raven man working. See, so through observation, and then it reveals that this raven practice, and I gotta elaborate on this deception because he's hiding food falsely, manipulating other creatures. You like that, don't you? I know y'all like that. They say, man, that was slick how you said that with the raven up there. And that's it. You like that. Yeah, I know you like it. Yeah, you can use it. See, because he employed cunning strategies to gain advantage, research of other documented ravens and creating these false caches and mislead watch other competitors. You catch it? And then returning later to retrieve the action with the hidden food that he was putting up. See, the raven man operating on a whole nother level. Let me show you something. Raven man ain't one to be played with. He ain't one to be played with. But we're going to see something. In Proverbs chapter 12, verse 22. 12:22, he says this. And watch this. It says, lying lips are abomination to the Lord. But they that dealt truly are his delight. Exactly the point. So what is it saying? Okay, lying lips. See, spiritual abomination defines who unclean, arbor, loathsome, and because the abomination is all these things. It's lewdness, detestable, idolatrous, wickedness, evil. See, lying lips is not merely displeasing to Jehovah, but they constitute an abomination. They constitute to an abomination, placing the liar in the same category as the unclean fowls. You can't get around it. Why? I'm going to show it to you. You're going to sit there and see it. Exodus 20:16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. Ooh, that's a tough one. But he's a false witness that stands beyond courtrooms. They're perjured. They testify falsely about ministries, about leaders, about assemblies, reshaping realities through lies to serve their purpose. They practice treachery. They define as foolish behavior unto unfaithfulness. Why? It is what it is. Let's look at something. We're going to pull something up. Let's go back over here to Proverbs chapter 26 and picking it up at 24 to 26. So we're going to pick that up to 26, 24 to 26. And it says, he that disassembleth with his lips. See, this is what they do. They specialize in this. They disassemble with his lips and lay up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. They real cool. I'm not really about that. No, don't believe him. It's a setup. It's a setup. I just love children. It's a setup. They're going to be real cool. They're going to be humble as a pie. But it's a setup. When he speaketh fair, don't believe it. Don't believe it. I just love children. Really? I just love them. I don't, please. That little girl, right. Yeah, right. Yeah, got you. Yeah, bro, caught those eyes. Believe him not. For there are 7 abominations in his heart. Boy, I want the mama. Now you follow me? See, whose hatred is covered by deceit. His wickedness shall be showed before the whole congregation. That actually happened. That actually happened. But the invisible things of Jehovah are clearly seen through the raven's deceptive practices in the nature of birds' cunning strategies, reveal spiritual truth about men who practice similar deception in dealing with Jehovah's people. Now you follow me. So we got to remember these things. So we got to remember another one. We got to remember 3. We got a few of them we're going through. So now the third one, you got the spirit of perdition and violence. The spirit of perdition and violence. Why? Because he's the destroyer of desolation. Why I'm saying that? Because we got to look at a few things. The ravens are documented as active predators, not just as scavengers. They attack vulnerable prey. They raid nests. Remember, I told all this stuff I told you already. They hit young birds. They engage in aggressive territory behaviors. These birds, they coordinate to overwhelm larger animals. They're good at doing this. See, don't think they're not skilled at what they do. But we got to look at things on how they work. So when we look at this, this is why I say you stay in the book. You stay covered in the book. Let's look at something in Ezekiel 22:29. And it says, the people of the land have used oppression and exercised robbery and have vexed the poor and needy. Yea, they have oppressed the strangers wrongfully. Interesting, ain't it? See, before Jehovah sent the flood of violence fill the earth, see, the raven found all these floating corpses all around. Satisfied. He said, boy, look at this smorgasbord for the young kids. That's buffets. But it's really called smorgasbord. Boy, look at this smorgasbord. The connection is profound. Why? Violence creates the conditions in which the raven man thrives in. See, they do not prevent violence. They await the results so they can feed from that destruction. You get me? See, they ain't nothing to play with. Let's build on that. Let's build on that thought. In Isaiah, looking at chapter 59, but we're going to pick this up at verse 7. And you're going to see something real interesting. It says, their feet run to evil, and they make haste to shed innocent blood. Their thoughts are thoughts of iniquity. Wasting and destruction are in their path. Bingo. That's the raven man. Describes him perfectly. Why? This is what they do. This raven man, His very pathway leaves desolation. He leaves no evidence. He just walks through the situation and leaves it unchanged. His path through assemblies, through families, through communities, lead destruction as he waits. And you see what it's saying? Wasting and destruction in their path. You see it says that. You see it right here. I'm gonna highlight. I want to make sure you get that part. See, some of y'all might be looking, but I want you to see that. See, is wasting and destruction are in their path. That's there. That's there. But you got a fourth one. They sitting there like, dang, they got another way. The raven man embodies spiritual adultery. For everybody else, spiritual adultery, unfaithfulness to Jehovah. Yeah. Let's look at something. We got to look at it. We got to look at it. We're going to look at Genesis 8 and 7. But I also want to put another one with it. I want to put Exodus 20 and 3. We got to put that with it. We want to put another one with it. So we want to understand what's going on. But the raven man, he embodies this unfaithfulness. So you're going to see the raven abandon his duties. I want you to see this because that's why I came back here. It says, and he sent forth a raven, which went forth to and fro until the waters were dried up from off the earth. But hell, he didn't come back. See, the raven, when Noah sent him forth, he didn't return. He stayed there feeding on the carcasses. The raven man abandons his covenant relationship with the Most High. So this is made known through idolatry, serving other gods, whether literal idols or gods or materialism, power or pleasure. Why we over here with Exodus 20 and 3. And it says, thou shalt not have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything in the heaven above, or that in the earth beneath, or that in the waters under the earth. You see all this? But watch this. And thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor serve them, for the Lord thy God am a jealous God, visiting iniquity upon the fathers, upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me. See, once he got out there, he said, I'm good. Why? Let's look at something. Let me put another one with it to where we can make sure we're going to get this. We're going to look at something, Malachi chapter 2:14. 2:14 getting old, y'all. But it says, yet ye say, well, because the Lord, the Spirit of God, have been witness between thee and thy wife of thy youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously, yeah, ye have, and yet is she thy companion, and thy wife of the covenant. And did not I make one, yet his residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one, that he might seek a godly seed? Therefore, take heed to your spirit. Take heed to your spirit. And let not deal treacherously against thy wife of his youth. For the Lord, the God of Israel, for the Spirit of God, the God of Israel, saith that he hateth putting away. For one covereth violence with his garment, saith the Lord of hosts. Therefore, take heed to your spirit and deal not treacherously. We got a lot of people do that too. Why? Because they just idiots. Pure, ain't nothing else to say, just pure idiots. Pure idiots. Because when you got so many people going to embrace worldliness, that makes you an adulterer. Did you know that? Actually, let me show you this. Just show you. Because when we embrace that worldliness, you make you an adulterer. But in James 4:4, we're going to see that. And it says, ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Did you know that? See, you got a lot of people who want to embrace the things of this world, the monies and all these things of the world. Don't you know that's enmity to God? Did you know that? Did you know when you sitting there, you valuing money over loved ones, Don't you know that makes you separation from God? You can sit there with your mouth all day. Oh, the Lord. Oh, the Lord. You're lying. You're telling a bold-faced, unadulterated, low-down, dirty dog lie. You're lying. He identifies worldliness as adultery, spiritual unfaithfulness, so this covenant abandonment, the choice to pursue relationships of the world systems rather than exclusive devotion to Jehovah. Done. So this raven man, he's going to always maintain friendships with the world while claiming he serves Jehovah, creating the impossible contradiction that reveals his true allegiance. Did you know that? They can't even get around it. They can't even get around that. They're going to always show where their true allegiance always fall. Period. Let's look at something. In Ezekiel 16. 16, it tells us real clear. 16, 31, 32. 16, 31, 32. It says, thou hast built thy eminent place in the head of every way, and maketh thy high place on every street, and has not been as a harlot, and thou scornest hire, but as a wife that committeth adultery, which taketh strangers instead of her husband. We good at doing this. Makes you a raven man. Operate worse than a common harlot. Makes you a straight out bona fide low down dirty dog hoe. Claims to be faithful spouse while committing adultery. Claiming to serve Jehovah while screwing other masters. Claim to build Jehovah's kingdom while building your own empire. Tell me you don't do it. Let's look at something. And we're going to sit there and see something in Hosea. We're going to see Hosea chapter 4, but we're going to pick this up at verse 11. We're going to look at verse 11. We're going to get this a little bit closer. So it says, whoredom, in wine, in new wine, take away the heart. What? Yeah, that's what it says. Whoredom, in wine, and new wine, take away the heart. My people ask counsel at their stocks, and their staff declare unto them, for the spirit of whoredom have caused them to err. See, you got a lot of people. The spirit of whoredom gets a lot of people. You follow me? See, this not changing. This is not changing. See, this is why you see, one, as YouTube constantly hides a lot of the number channels, we cool with that. But you got a lot of people who will sit there and say, I don't think I want to watch this lesson. Yeah, you want me to tell you why? Because you're a hoe. You're a bona fide, low-down, dirty dog hoe. That's why. And you don't want to face reality. So it gets ready. It says, cause them to err. They have gone a whoring from under their God. Yeah, that's what they do. They sacrifice, they establish covenants upon the tops of mountains and burn incense on the hills, under oaks, in poplars, in elms, because the shadow thereof is good. Therefore, your daughters shall commit whoredoms, and your spouses shall commit adultery. I will not punish your daughters when they commit whoredom, nor your spouses that had committed adultery, for themselves are separated with whores and sacrificed with harlots. Therefore, the people that do not understand shall fall. So all you fools that did that, y'all gonna fall. It gonna get worse. So as it says, this gonna come down. This spiritual decay, this judgment. Why? Because it takes away the heart. Did you see what it said that? See, it takes away the heart. Did you catch it? Okay, I'd say some of y'all didn't catch it. That's okay. Let's go back up here. Okay. I want you to read down through here real close. They're going a whoring after other gods. But I want you to see what is done. I want you to see what you have done. Because it's serious. And you will not understand, she'll fall. So, you got to remember the parable reveals the raven man, this unforgiving heart. So I want to tell you a little story. Tell you a little story. So since I tell you a little story, we'll put this in there where you can sit there and see, because I'm going to tell you a story. Because we got to remember, it was a king. A king. And this king is like heaven, unlike to a certain king that would take account for his servants. And when he had began to reckon them, one was brought to him, which owed him 10,000 talents. People say, well, I heard this. No, you didn't hear this quite. Because I'm going to tear this all the way down. So he owed him 10,000 talents. But for as much as he had not paid, his Lord commanded him to be sold, and his wife and his children, all that they had, in payment be made. The servant fell down and he worshiped, saying, Lord, have patience with me, and I'll pay thee all. And the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion. And he loosed him. And he forgave him. And he forgave him of that debt. But that same identical servant went out and found one of his fellow servants, which owed him 100 pence. He laid hands on him. And he told him, pay me all that thou owest. And his fellow servant, he fell down and besought him, saying, have patience with me, and I pay thee all. But this one would not have that same patience. But he went and cast him in prison until he paid the debt. I'm going to actually show you this, because I'm telling you, but I'm going to show you some of the difference in here. In Matthew chapter 18, we'll start at 23. And it says, therefore the kingdom of heaven is like unto a certain king which taketh account for his servants. You see how it's going down. For as much as he did not pay, his Lord he commanded to be sold, him and his wife. And the servant fell down and worshipped him and said, Lord, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all. And the Lord of that servant was moved with compassion and loosed him and forgave him. I want you to keep that in mind. And when this fellow servant fell down at his feet, besought, saying, have patience with me, and I will pay thee all, he would not. But he cast him in prison until he paid the debt. I want you to keep that in mind. The reason why, I want you to observe him. And this was a raven man. The reason why it was a raven man, you're going to see why. Because what he did, it was specific actions on what he took. He laid hands on him. He laid hands on this man. Tell you right there. It's the raven man. He laid hands on him. What's even worse, he took him by the throat. Key things on what's happening, showing you this raven man. So when you see this reveals that this raven man, this destroyer of nature, the throat represents life, breath, voice, the ability to speak, to plead, to reason. But this raven man, he took this other course. He did this other way. To do him in. It's a raven man. A raven man, the destroyer of that nature, he did this to this guy. To prevent any defense or self-explanation. He wasn't demanding payment. This was an assault. Violence, a physical manifestation of spiritual violence characterized by all raven man dealings. And so I want you to understand the comparison why I'm using this. See, when we look at the multitude of his wickedness, when you look at the 10,000 talents, just in years of wages, 10,000 talents will go approximately hit 200,000 years of wages. For the common labor, which is an impossible debt, representing billions in modern currency. I want you to think about that. 10,000 talents will equate to 200,000 years of wages. That's an impossible debt for anyone to pay. That'll equate to billions in modern currency. Yet, his fellow servant owed him 100 denarii, which approximately it adds up to 100 days of wages, a debt that could be reasonably be repaid. 100 days versus 200,000 years. He received mercy of the impossible debt, but yet he showed no mercy for the manageable debt. He experienced compassion to forgive billions, yet demonstrated cruelty and imprisonment for pennies. This disproportionate exposes his heart of the raven man. He believes he deserved mercy. All raven men always going to believe they deserve mercy. I want you to get that through your head. All raven men going to always believe they deserve mercy. But others deserve judgment. He believes his debt should be forgiven, but others' debt must be paid in full. That's a raven man. They always believe whatever's for them, it should be good for them. But for others, not for them. I'm special. I'm a raven man. I'm special. Took him by the throat. Carries that profound thing. It shows you right here. I just showed it to you earlier. We're going to go back to it. Romans 1:20. You better believe it when you see it. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. You better believe that raven man when you see him. You better believe what you see. Predators take prey by the throat to kill efficiently, to prevent escape, to silence the cries for help. The raven, when attacking a vulnerable bird, he strikes the throat. He strikes the head, seeking to kill quickly and feed without interference. The raven man, he employs identical strategies to do that. That's his nature. He does that. As this man, he sets to do all these things. His fellow servant even assumed the posture, and then his unmerciful servant used before the king, falling down, begging for patience, promising for full payment. But identical words, his appeal for mercy, just demonstrated, yet the raven man would not do it. The two word phrases, everything. He possessed the ability to show mercy. He understood mercy. He understood the nature, yet deliberately chooses to refuse it. He would not. The king, he identified this guy. He identified this guy as a wicked servant. As you see right here, it says, then the Lord, after he had called him, said unto him, thou wicked servant. Wicked. He's now seen as a wicked servant. Not merely a servant, but merely the harsh servant, but a wicked servant. Wickedness constitutes this way of this person. Receiving mercy while refusing to extend it. You tell me what kind of person. This is a raven man. They always looking for mercy, but they will not extend it. The king's anger of the Lord was wroth, demonstrated that unmerciful behavior. So the same thing we see with Yahushua, that parable. So he says the same thing when we look at 35. Let's look at this. Right here. We want this here. In Matthew 18:35, he says, so likewise shall my heavenly Father do also unto you. I want you to clearly get what he's saying. If, providing ye from your hearts forgive not every one of his brothers their trespasses. He's going to hold you to that. The phrase is from the heart. The phrase is from your heart. You see right here? From your heart, forgive not everyone. So what are you saying? What are you saying? So you got a lot of people, I forgive them. I forgive them. You still didn't forgive them. Why? Because it'll still come up later. Those still comes up later. You didn't forgive them because you still bring it up. Remember you were doing it? Yeah. Hell is your resting place because you choose still not to forgive. But you want him to forgive you. But you choose not to forgive. If ye from your hearts forgive not. Why you think I always say, I tell you all the time, a lot of us is not going to make it because this is what people don't know how to do. They don't know how to truly forgive. Why? Because they're going to sit there and they'll say they forgive, but then even behind the scene, they still going to act like they cool, but they still ain't forgave because they still going to act the same way towards that person. So they never forgave them. Because if you forgave them, that's in the sea of forgetfulness. That person got a clean slate. The same clean slate you want with God. But since you hold that against that person, you never truly forgave. So, excuse me. So, he ain't going to forgive you because you never forgave either. This reveals the issue. This internal compliance, this forced pardon. But the genuine heart, this genuine heart transformation, Jehovah requires this. This forgiveness flows from the heart. Well, I know I'm not going to get a lot of amen. I know people they scared to say it now because a lot of people hold that same thing. And guess what? Hell should be your resting place. Because they want to hold that. So you should go there. That's why hell enlarged herself. Because you're a raven man. And what they do, they self-centered. Superficial forgiveness. Forgiveness in words only. Forgiveness that masks continued bitterness. These don't satisfy Jehovah's commands. The raven man may speak forgiveness while the heart harbors vengeance. They claim mercy, while action demonstrates violence. They profess compassion, while his behavior manifests cruelty. But Jehovah examines the heart. The heart of forgiveness brings judgments, deliverance to tormentors. Actually, let me show you something. Let me show you this. In Matthew 7:2. It says, excuse me, it says, for with the judgment ye judge, and ye shall be judged. So with that same judgment, you're going to be judged. With that same judgment. So don't worry about it. You will be judged with that. And with what measure of meat it shall be measured to you again. It's going to come back to you. The same way you do them, he going to do you. People say, but I was cool. I have to be cool with him, and I just speak to him, but I'm cool. No, guess what? You never forgave him. He going to judge you the same way. The raven man who imprisons others for debt shall himself be imprisoned. Raven man who withholds forgiveness from his heart shall find no forgiveness. This is the end of the function of this raven, torment. No mercy, judgment, no forgiveness, desolation, no restoration. So the same thing as we'll see here. Actually, I want to use this one here. Let's look at Proverbs. Proverbs chapter 6, we're going to look at 16. Clear. It says 6 things doeth the Lord hate. Yep, 6 things he hate. Yea, 7 are abomination unto him, a proud look, which they have a lying tongue. Yeah, I forgave him, really didn't. I forgave him. No, you didn't. Yeah, I forgave him. Yeah, I did. No, you didn't. The hand that sheds innocent blood, that's another one. A heart that deceiveth wicked imagination, that's another one. Feet that swift to run to mischief, that's another one. False witness that speaketh lies, that's another one. He that sows discord among the brethren, that's another one. These raven men. See, a proud look, a raven man looks down from his position, scavenging. He always. Let me get somewhere real quick. In Proverbs 30 and 13, we'll see something. It says, there's a generation, oh, how lawfully are their eyes, their understanding, and their eyelids are lifted up. Exactly the point. See, they so lifted up in their pride, the desolation, their grief, with satisfaction. They don't have humility, but with arrogance. Describe this precisely. This generation, these old lofty, proud look, precedes the action, revealing the heart, the condition of people that enables all subsequent abominations. They're good at doing this. They're good at doing this. The lying tongue. Tell you, lying tongue, right there. They're going to speak falsely. Even a former leadership, even a leadership, to try to seize resources. His tongue going to spread slander, to try to rewrite history, to reframe failures and inevitable to excuse of their opportunism. Actually, I want to show you something. I want to pull this over here. Proverbs 12:22, before I end up forgetting it. It says, lying lips are abomination to the Lord, but he that deal truly are the Lord's delight. Exactly. Because you got to remember, this is what they do. Yet the raven man going to always employ lying fundamental tools to his trade. Always. Always. And this is why that's why it says every raven. Proverbs 1:11, it tells us even a little bit more. It says, if they say, come with us, let us lay wait for blood. Let us lurk privately for the innocent without cause. Let us swallow them up alive as the grave, whole as they go down into the pit. And we shall find all precious substance, and we shall find our houses with spoil. Cast in thy lot among us. Let us all have a purse. My son, walk not thou in the way with them. Refrain thy foot, thy desire from their path. Let their feet, their desires run to evil, and make haste to shed blood. That's a key. The raven man, he's going to always seek to destroy reputations of people's lives. See, not physically kill him, but they try to do it. Shed innocent blood. Excuse me. It's called You want to write them down. It's called character assassination. Character assassination. I'm gonna have the moderators put that in. One of them is character assassination. They use this to do that. To shed innocent blood through character assassination. That's one. That's what this is doing right there. The verse I'm just showed you in Proverbs. The other one is this. They also want to do this through false accusations. That's two. This is what a raven man will do. They're also going to do it through manipulation that drives people to despair. To warn those whose feet run to evil, make haste to shed blood. The raven man holds all covered with the blood of those he has destroyed. So when that phrase, shed innocent blood, carries this profound spiritual weight, innocent blood cries from the ground, even as Abel. Actually, I'll show it to you. Even as Abel did. And we'll see that in Genesis chapter 4, picking up at verse 10. And he said, what hast thou done? Thy voice of thy brother crieth unto me from the ground. Exactly the point. Character assassination. This profound spiritual weight, this innocent blood carries this. So when a raven man destroys somebody's reputation, they spill the blood, they cries to heaven. When it's assassination of character, he commits murder in Jehovah's sight. When he drives the vulnerable to despair through manipulation, the spiritual death testifies against him before the throne of judgment. We got to remember this raven man. This raven man is unique. He's slick. And we got to understand where he's coming from. We got to remember what he's all about. So as we continue to go through here, we got to understand what they do. See, when he approaches who knows both targets, this is a raven man. They're going to always approach who knows both targets. And he targets the one he wants. And he wants confidence using intimate knowledge to gain through past relationship to craft these believable lies. And they'll tell people these things, I'm only telling you because I care about him. They'll whisper. I'm concerned about what I've been seeing. I'm concerned about what I've seen. They use selective truth twisted into lies. Partial facts stripped with content. Ancient failures present as current patterns. So we look at this raven man, and you see this Psalms 55 is why I was running it. It captures that because it tells you exactly what's going on. It says, "For it was not an enemy that reapproached me. Then I could have bored it." Because it wasn't the enemy. Neither was it he that hated me that did magnify himself against me. Then I would have hid myself from him. Exactly the point. But it was thou, a man, a male and female of my equal, my guide and my acquaintance. We took sweet counsel together and we walked in the house of God in company. Yeah, they'll be right here. They'll be right here. And they operate as a raven person. They're going to sit there and they're going to leverage past intimacy as a weapon. The warning against what they do. I want you to remember something. Let's look at something. In Proverbs chapter 16, 28. A forward man soweth strife. Exactly the point. A forward man gonna sow strife. A whisper separateth chief friends. Exactly the point. See, the whisper of a raven man who will speak in confidence, who shares concern, but he plants seeds of doubt, separate chief friends, destroys decades of relationships, isolates his targets by turning trust companions into suspicious interrogators. You follow me? See, false accusations escalate beyond private whispers to public declarations, where the raven man make bold claims, trusting in his own lies, recruiting other liars to collaborate his assassination in public forums. They present himself as a victim or this righteous defender of exposing wickedness that's standing before the assembly or posting in public places where his target cannot adequately respond. This happens. I want to show you a few things here as we continue to move forward. This is Raven Man. This is us. This is how good they are. They're very good at what they do. And we're going to look at Jeremiah chapter 9, looking at verse 5. We want to pick it up over again. We want Psalms 27. Psalms 27. 27, we want 12. Yeah. I want you to understand what's happening here. See, because he trusts in his lies, he repeat them till they become reality, which we see here. And they will be deceived, everyone his neighbor, and will not speak the truth. They have taught their tongue to speak lies and worry themselves to commit iniquity. Exactly the point. This is what the Raven Man is good at doing. He teaches his tongue to speak lies, worrying himself and labor to maintain a false narrative, recruiting other false witnesses who swear to events that never occurred, circumstances that's grossly distorted. Psalms 27 verse 12 tells you, deliver me not over the will of my own enemies, for false witnesses are risen against me. And such a breathed out cruelly is what happened. Actually, that ties into this other one. I want to run that. I'm going to run that one. In Proverbs 19. Proverbs 19 verse 5. It tells you this. A false witness should not be unpunished, but he that speaketh lies shall not escape. Exactly the point. See, false witnesses breathe out purity. Their testimony is not mere errors, but is active violence designed to destroy rather than to correct, to murder reputations rather than to restore relationships. So we got this Raven Man. I'm going to get some water. So we had a Raven Man trusting his lies. His declaration, they believe because they are carefully constructed his credibility to position himself as a reliable witness to recruit supporting testimonies from others who will lie for him. He assassinate publicly, clowning the principles in assassinations that spreads lies faster than, this refutation. Suspicious lingers and the evidence of reputations once. So they require years of cleansing. So when we're looking at this manipulation going under this character assassination, this false assassination serves as the Raven Man's legitimate goal. Gaining favor of others to consolidate power is what they look for. And they look for it for themselves. He does not destroy for their sake, but they destroy the position of himself for the righteous alternative, the trustworthy leader they sought through. So this approach, one whom they once targeted, once influenced, offering himself as a replacement. They'll say, you can trust, I know you trust him. But now I see why I was concerned. Let me help you understand what true ministry looks like. He manipulates through these appearing as his refuge, as he expanding control. Let me show you what I'm getting into. I'll show you this. Might as well show it to you. In James 3 and 14, it says, But if ye be bitter in envy and strife in your heart, glory not, and lie not against the truth. You see this here. This wisdom descended not from above, but earthly, sensual, devilish. For where envy and strife is, there's confusion in every evil work. It's clear. This Raven Man creates confusion. He's good at doing it. through manipulation. They once knew this question everything. Those who once trusted now suspect everyone. Those who once stood firm now wavers in uncertainty. This confusion, his positions himself as a source of clarity, stability, trustworthy, a guidance. All while being the author of the very confusion he claimed to resolve. It's good at what he does. That's the raven man that is best. And as we said in Proverbs 26, 24, we'll see it. He that hateth dissembleth his lips, he layeth up deceit within him. When he speaketh fair, believe him not. He's going to get you. He's going to get you. The raven man speak fair words, laying up deceit in him. And many people are going to persist in him. Holding to what he's saying is true. His heart is full of wicked imaginations. In fact, you see this even here. In Malachi chapter 2 and verse 1, he tells you this. It's clear. It says, "Oh, and now, O priests, this commandment is for you. If ye hear not that I have laid up in your hearts to glory unto you in my name." Why? Because we need to hold on to that way on what we're doing. And the same thing you'll see over here where it's telling us about these lying lips. Because we're going to see the same thing a little bit different in Micah chapter 2 and verse 1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds, their rest. When the morning is light, they practice it. Because it is in the power of their hand. Why? Because their feet is quick to run to evil. They're eager to run to that. They're going to continually always seek evil things. In Isaiah 59 and verse 7, saying we'll see this here. We seen this earlier, 59:7, as well as we want Exodus 23 and verse 1. 23 and 1, but he's telling you, their feet run to evil. They can't wait to get there. When something is going wrong, they quick to get there. And make haste to shed innocent blood. Quick. And as Exodus tells you in 23:1, it says, Thou shalt not rise a false report. Put thy hand with the wicked to be unrighteous witness. You don't do it. You don't do it. When you're looking at the characteristics of this raven man, I want you to remember this and never forget it. Leviticus 11, verse 15. Every raven of its kind. Every raven of its kind. Every type of raven, every variation, every spiritual function stands condemned, spiritually defines an abomination, unclean, harbor, loathsome. To eat of a raven means to internalize its nature, to learn of his example, to adopt his methods. A season by force, destroying, creating desolation. Something that you'll feed greedily upon. Therefore, the Lord commanded, you reject the raven man. But many of us will not. That's why I had my daughters read that letter. Most people don't even know what this means. Because that letter, I'm not going to tell you if it's good or bad, but you need to understand the letter that she read. That you need to. For the invisible things of Jehovah are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made. And through the raven's behavior in the creation, so now we see without excuse. So as we come into this closing, These last few minutes we'll be together. I want you to look at something. We're going to see something in 2 Corinthians 13:5. I'm only looking for people who are truly going to do this. And it says, examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know that ye your own selves, how that Jesus Christ, salvation of Jehovah, is in you, except you be reprobates. You do that for you. When you collapse, comes assembly down the street, your brother in ministry, your fathers, your brothers, do you quickly run to this desolation? Do you offer solutions, spiritual restoration? Do you seek towards intercession of one of them? Or labor in rebuilding what was evil, what was done, or was torn down? Or do your feet swift to run to mischief, arriving quickly, not to terror or seek to help, but the phone calls and messages, spreading the news, analyzing the failure, positioning yourselves as one who, I seen it coming. Consider the abomination of the entertainment choices. See, reality shows. I speak about them all the time. Reality shows trains you in the Raven's behaviors method. Did you know that? I can't stand them. The people who even play in them. Why? They teach you the Raven's method. They programs towards manipulation. They celebrate cunning thief disguised as strategy and applaud character assassination, masked as keeping it real. As keeping it real. They honor the ones who seize resources through deception and cause their skills. You swim into the dwelling places where they absorb the raven's nature. Through their eyes, their ears, learning their tactics, admiring their efficiency, justifying their methods, just as how they play their game. Then, when you rise from your own couch, you practice what you have learned, knowingly or unknowingly, on your brother, never realizing that you have been eaten. You've been eaten of that unclean fowl. That you have internalized the abomination. You have become the very thing Jehovah commanded you are to reject. Actually, let me show you something. Proverbs 23:7. It tells you, for as he thinketh in his heart, if that kind of crap entertains you, so is he. If that kind of silliness you think is entertainment, so are you. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. It's not with the Most High. So it gets this way. I know a lot of women sitting in there, amen, they sit there and they feet quick to run to that crap. But they have thought upon the raven ways, meditated upon their strategies. Their heart has been transformed into that image. So when you find yourself quick to accuse, swift to whisper concerns, eager to share, what have you noticed? But another conduct or doctrine. Do you create confusion where there is always clarity? Have you sowed doubt where there was confidence? Have you planted suspicion where there was trust? All while claiming you are just trying to help. Or you being honest? See, the Raven man accusation bears particular marks. They blame where there's no blame. They manufacture faults from their imagination. They twist innocent actions unto evidence. Wicked through creative interpretations. He claims what belongs to another. Claiming credit for their labor. Claiming authority over their ministry. Let me show you something. In James 4:4, 4:11, going to the wrong place. It says, speak not evil one of another, brother. He that speaketh evil of his brother and judges his brother speaketh evil of the law and judge of the law. But if he judge the law, thou art not the doer of the law, but a judge. There is no lawgiver who is able to save and to destroy. Who art in your perfection beauty art that judges another? Who is you? The raven man. The raven man sets himself up as the judge, the lawyer, and the jury, declaring guilty, pronouncing sentences, executing judgment while claiming he is merely speaking truth. Accusation serve no correction but confusion. Restoration, none but division. Jehovah's justice is his own advancement. So when the assembly lies wounded in the whisper, when the family concerns, all that goes in, when ministries collapse, his accusation circles overhead, surveying the desolation and satisfaction, ready to descend in defeat upon his tongue that he had destroyed. One thing is most damning of all. The damning of all when you protect the liars as truth seekers, elevating false witnesses, their lies that serve your purposes. You see the same thing in Deuteronomy chapter 19 and verse 15 through 21. You see this here. This is so clear. It says, one witness shall not rise up against a man for an iniquity or for any sin in any sin that he sinneth. At the mouth of two witnesses or at the mouth of three shall the matter be established. If a false witness rise up against any man to testify against him that which is wrong, then both the man in between whom the controversy shall stand before the Lord and before the priest and the judge, and shall be in those days. And the judge shall make a diligent acquisition, and remember, if the witness be a false witness, he that testifies falsely against the brother, then shall ye do unto him that hath thought to do unto his brother. Thou shalt put evil away from among you. Those which remain shall hear and fear, and from henceforth commit no more evil among you. For thy eye shall not pity, but the life shall go for life, an eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth, hand for a hand, foot for a foot. What do all that mean? This is the reason why I will tell people all the time, when things even happen here, I will always, and people even know who I do this relentlessly, I will always put those people before you. This is why I do that. When somebody make an accusation against someone else, I'm going to always put them before you, because that law is there. Both men between whom the controversy should stand before the Lord, and also face to face in confrontation. So the accuser and the accused must stand together for examination. So when somebody accuse you of doing any wrongdoing, and they want to hide the accuser, that's sin. 100% sin. Violating the judgment pattern on what was already affirmed in the matter. This is why when you guys see we try to take care of things here, I'm going to have the accused and the accuser always before. I don't hide anyone. Let's look at something in Acts 25 and verse 16. It says, to whom I answer is not in the matter of Romans, to deliver any man to die before that he which is accused have the accusers face to face, and have the license to answer for himself concerning the crime that's laid against him. This is why I always stand on what I stand on. I never change. A lot of people eagerly will receive accusations, failing to make diligent acquisitions, protecting the false witnesses, because their lies advancement of their narrative, their testimony support their positions. Their false report damages the one they seek to destroy. So that's why I hold to what I hold to. The raven man will always, to himself, recruit the liars. He protects the deceivers. He elevates the false witnesses, calling them truth tellers and courageous whistleblowers. But in reality, they're just fellow predators participating in a coordinated attack. So we remember this as I let you go with this. In Psalms 101 and 5, whoso privately slander his neighbor, him will I cut off. Exactly the point. So when people hide that accuser, you're going to get cut off. He that have a high look, a proud heart, will I not suffer. My eyes shall be upon the faithful in the land, and that they may dwell with me. He that maketh me a perfect way, he shall serve me. He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house. He that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight. So I stand on that as myself. As I tell you, you guys should stand on these words. Because we got to understand what the raven man is all about. Why I told you why he was so dangerous. The raven man house become a habitation of liars, a table that becomes gatherers' place for deceivers. His assembly becomes a conspiracy of ravens, the unkindness of treachery, feeding together upon carrion, dead flesh, collectively destroyed. So I ask you to meditate on these things. Day and night examining your heart with the lamp of Jehovah's word. Are your feet swift to run to mischief? Is your tongue quick to accuse? Do your hands protect false witnesses? If you bear these marks, you're not merely mistaken. You are an abomination to the Most High God. And he will utterly reject you when you stand before him yourself. So hopefully that each and every person got the understanding of what's going on and why I couldn't do the second part of the Raven Man because I had to finish all this out to where we can move over to the rest of them. So what we're going to do, we're going to get ready for the second part. We're going to go in the back. We have some announcements. Well, I said we're going to be letting people know about the tabernacles, the rooms and everything, the rates and all that, and people to schedule. And then from there we'll start the second lesson. We had a school session also going, so all that want to join up, please make sure that you become part of what we're doing. And you see the link that you should see the link that Sister Venus is actually putting up. You should be able to see that. So all that is here, we will have that to go through. I want to sit there and see something. Yeah, there we go. So as we close out here, I say to each and every person until we meet again next week, we're going to be going through the musical instruments in 1 minute, and we're going to do that in Zoom. So if you want to go through those, we come in the back and we'll make sure that who's going through that can learn. But other than that, until we meet again, I say to each and every person, until then, shalom.